These are my 25 favorite songs of all time. They are in no favorable particular order other than in alphabetical order. I wish I could have included this in the book or memoir, but it turned out to be too much content. But this is about what they meant to me. Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic. I'm not sure how long or soon after Gangsta's Paradise that the king of parodies Weird Al Yankovic did this very interesting take. I think I saw the music video first before I purchased his CD album. I was not sure if I purchased the single cassette or album CD first. It was released in 1996, so 2 years before we moved to Lancaster. We were already frequent tourists to the Amish country in Lancaster, but when the music video was shown on MTV, my mother's reply was negative. It sounded like he's teasing them, their way of life. I'd actually say the song did a very good job of describing them, with the exception of two things. The line, "We sell quilts at discount price," is highly incorrect, since it's well-known fact they hand-make everything. Their quilts start at $400. The second problem is the music video contains a little too much violent dialogue and vague sexual nuances. But overall, a well-researched written song about them and their way of life. Beat Street. Growing up in the 1980s, one style of music and dancing really took notice and shape, hip-hop/breakdancing. There were a few movies covering this. But one song's film title, seen and heard in the finale, was awesomely written and playing for 6 minutes and 48 seconds, called Beat Street Breakdown. Written and performed by Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five, I always thought it was done by Grandmaster Flash. The song's lyrics really touched on life, the streets, and the time period. I enjoyed, heck loves it so much I memorized it. Believe It or Not by Joey Scarberry. I don't know where my father found or purchased this huge jukebox, but it was practically the size of a small car, weighed like 1-2. This was around the early to mid-1980s. The jukebox had a large, heavy overhead metal and glass opening. Don't know how he never dropped or broke it. It contained a metal loading mechanism that looked like a factory. He or we would load it with a small 45 RPM or single records. Not many, about 4 to 6 or less at a time. One particular single, besides my original Convoy single, that was played on a constant basis was Joey Scarberry's Believe It or Not. We never really paid attention to the artist, unless he was a major superstar or from the rock and roll and country genres. I don't know if it was written for the television show, The Greatest American Hero, or its producers just found interesting enough to use it. But it's possible we became fans of the song due to the TV show. But for the most part, this song and Convoy were played the most. And when I mean played, I mean overplayed. I must say producers of television shows really know how to pick a theme song. This happened quite often. The song's lyrics really matched the plot for the Greatest American Hero television show. And Joey Scarberry did a fantastic job performing it. The opening verses really match how I felt when I was given a plaque that I received from the ABG restaurant in 2019 for Employee of the Year. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Convoy, 1978 movie version versus Convoy, 1976 original. I probably saw the movie before I heard the original song. So, hearing the movie version first made me think or believe that was the actual version. The movie version was requested to be rewritten to match the film's story and plot where the original song's story spread from West Coast to East Coast. A particular line in the movie version helped me realize that there were actually two different songs. Both songs had very similar lyrics and chorus, though the film story in the movie version of the song helped separate the difference. The particular line of the song that stuck out or grabbed my attention was, "Well, the great rubber duck started to run out of luck when he crossed that final bridge." It explained the movie's finale where the original version of the song continued the convoy. But songs were great in their own ways, similarities and differences. But the movie version had a rock music theme and instrumental to it, which made it stand out more. Though radio stations still only play the original from time to time on during classic and novelty broadcasts, it was at one point my smartphone's ringtone. Long live the most underrated performer and songwriter, Bill Fries, aka C.W. McCall. Dancing in the Street by Martha and the Vandellas. This was the first song I ever heard. I don't know how young I was, but it was in Norristown as a child. My parents had stacks of cardboard covered LPs or long playing records. Unsure if the one I picked was a full album or a compilation. But the song was by Martha and the Vandellas, their 1965 hit, Dancing in the Street. It may have been a section of song when they mentioned Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, due to American Bandstand bringing music and dancing to television, the original MTV. A scene from a 1980 film Fame reminds me of the song Dancing in the Streets. In the film, a student composer of the film's instrumental music sounded so good his father plays it on large speakers over top of his taxi cab. The students filed out of the school building listening to this new and awesome music, and they were dancing in the street. Fame by Irene Cara. I saw the television series, 1982, before I saw the film version from 1980. The song is heard during the film and in the pilot, as well as the theme song of the TV series. But I didn't even realize that till watching it a second time years later. But it was a particular scripted line from real-life choreographer Debbie Allen, a school teacher who says in a motivating monologue to her class, "You have big dreams. You want fame. Well, fame costs, and here's where you start, paying in sweat." Both film and television series show student life at the School for the Performing Arts in New York City. Original song performer Irene Cara appears in the original 1980 film, but does not appear in the TV series. The song is part motivator, part promoting you on your way to becoming a star. I really enjoy singing it. Far From Over by Frank Stallone. I had no idea of the lyrics or performer, but for wrestling fans, it was the theme song for NWA Wrestling's year-end show Starrcade. Like television producers, legendary wrestler Dusty Rhodes knew how to pick great music. After several years of hearing Starrcade's theme music, I searched for its origins. I then learned of a film called Staying Alive. It was an almost little-known sequel to a major hit from 1978's Saturday Night Fever. John Travolta reprises his role as Tony Manero seeking out to be a Broadway dancer, but finds it really difficult to be discovered. When I saw the film, its very opening began with Starrcade's theme music. Wow! While the film was directed by up-and-coming film superstar Sylvester Stallone, more known at the time for his Rocky movies, his young brother Frank Stallone performed the song Far From Over. It really did match the film's story of struggling to make it big. That's what I often love about certain songs, telling the story going from rags to riches. The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. Yes, it's the legendary storytelling country artist Kenny Rogers' hit song. Often this song is attached to his own name when he is introduced. Though I never really got into card gambling or to this day understand the nuances, it's as much a learning tool as it's an awesome song. Like many country songs, I practically memorized it, and being exposed to the unique voice of Hank Williams Sr., I sang The Gambler so often to myself, I felt like I matched Kenny Rogers' voice perfectly. Gangsta's Paradise by Coolio. Like television and film, sometimes we never learn a song till it's used in a way to promote the media it's purposely associated with. I first heard this song in the opening of the 1995 film Dangerous Minds. I'm still not too fond of the film title, but I kinda understand what the meaning was. I picked up the soundtrack to the film. That is when you hear the full version. I also believe the song was used by one or more of the Philadelphia-based ECW wrestlers. One day, I was stunned when my father passed by my room and heard the song playing. It was rap music, and it's not a genre I thought he would be interested in or bother to try listening to. But for the vague or brief few seconds, maybe more, he did hear it and said, "That sounds interesting." Heck, if he liked that, he probably would have liked Beat Street. Maybe he heard a black voice talk about reality, survival on the streets, and thought it was talking about Philadelphia. I only saw the film Dangerous Minds once or twice and didn't pay serious attention to it. It was lead actress Michelle Pfeiffer who I gave my attention to it. Though ironically, I did not see her first role in Grease 2 till after I watched Dangerous Minds in 1995. Good Old Boys by Waylon Jennings. The theme song to the very popular CBS hit show The Dukes of Hazzard. For a good long time, my smartphone had two ringtones, I Get Around by the Beach Boys and of course Convoy by C.W. McCall. Then several months ago, I looked for another, something that resonated and grabbed my attention with composing score and lyrics. The show was about a Southern-based family in Hazard County, Georgia, dealing with both political and law enforcement, corruption, But more I heard the song through its title, Good Old Boys, it resonated with me as my brother and I. Hey Good Lookin' by Hank Williams. If you're a true country fan, there are a few legendary performers you would know and enjoy. Though he is strangely compared or considered the Elvis Presley of his day, whom I considered overrated, I consider Hank Williams Sr. the father of country music. Someone named Jimmy Rogers holds that title. It was my late father who introduced me to Hank Williams music during the many family car rides. He either had cassette tapes, CDs, or the radio, which he would belt out Hank's legendary voice, which an online comment interestingly described as whiny. I'd call a near high pitch of sorts. But it was something no one else could emulate. Not to mention his self-written music was about his personal life and struggles. Coming from a similar alcoholic and turbulent family is why my father could relate to Hank's music so well. Hank Williams just wanted to play his music in bars, aka honky-tonks, and not worry or care about the high life. But his wife Audrey, Hank Williams Jr.'s mother, would cause her husband's drinking to increase and cost him his life at an early age. Again, among many legendary songs I literally learned from my father's car ride singing, the one I enjoyed the most and very much memorized in Hank Williams' own voice as well is Hey, Good Lookin'. I Get Around by the Beach Boys. The Beach Boys will always be the greatest music band bar none for me. They still continue to perform worldwide every year after 50 years. Their music, though California surf-based, is enjoyed by every generation. They have countless great hit songs which I enjoy listening to at home via TV, radio, or smartphone. I have seen them in concert twice. Once in 1989, when my parents, brother, and I saw them in Atlantic City after their first song, Mike Love said, "We just got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." The auditorium cheered. It was about fucking time. There are at least half a dozen or more of their songs I would enjoy listening to while driving, but the one I really like the most is I Get Around. The song's lyrics and music make me feel like the teenager I should have and could have been. I Got You Babe by Sonny and Cher. Besides my wife's wedding favorite, The Glory of Love, from Karate Kid Part 2, this is our song. Written and performed by a real married couple, Sonny and Cher. Cher's particular line in the song, "They say our love won't pay the rent before it's earned our money's already spent," really resonated with us. Getting married, the ceremony and reception might cost a bit. Eventually, it becomes a financial struggle for two people and eventual children. Many romantic duets are not married couples. This was done by a real-life one. Its lyrics connect to us on a real, personal, and realistic level. The Moonshiner by the Clancy Brothers. This is probably the most ironic song I could ever like. Anyone who knows me knows I despise alcohol. I was raised to hate it, coming from an ancestry of alcoholics. So why would this be among my favorites? The lyrics actually relate to another favorite song of mine, Billy Joel's My Life. It's a very well-written, plotted, and the performers, the Clancy Brothers, resonated drinking on a funny and understanding basis. My Life by Billy Joel. The song was the first notable television theme song with lyrics I heard in the mid-1980s, as it was the theme song for the hit sitcom Bosom Buddies, starring Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari. Once I heard it on the radio, I realized, whoa, that's the theme song from Bosom Buddies. That's actually a real great song, and there's a longer or full version. I'm not sure how, but once I got the full version, it wasn't much different than the edited for television intro time. But the one thing that resonated or I could relate to were a few particular lines. Live your own life, leave me alone. The TV show's introduction of Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari showed two guys living life however they wanted to. But the song pushed the situation into the apparent where it was society, struggles, friends, jobs trying to control them. Pinball Wizard by The Who. I used a question for a while who wrote and performed this song after watching the film, or what's called a rock opera, Tommy. But apparently it was written and performed by the band, The Who, in 1969. Singer Elton John performed it separately for The Who in the rock opera film Tommy in 1975. I don't think it matters. The story, despite involving a physically and mentally disturbed person who apparently becomes an undefeatable pinball player, describes his way of playing. I relate to the song growing up not playing pinball, but video games. Rock and Roll is King by Yellow, Electric Light Orchestra. Of course, this is the theme song used by my all-time favorite professional wrestling tag team, the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. They've used a few theme songs over the years, but this one sells them, and the arena crowds explodes in pandemonium when this song plays. Rockstar by Nickelback. There are many music bands throughout history that myself, critics, and fans label one-hit wonders. I've heard this on radio at several of my restaurant jobs throughout the years. Listening to the lyrics, it's about how rock music bands spending money like it's drinking water, buying and doing anything without control. Basically, I described it better as spending money foolishly. What would you spend money on if you were a rock star? The most interesting line I get a kick out of is, "I want a front door key to the Playboy Mansion." Then I add on, "I didn't know there was a front door. All you ever see is them in the backyard playing volleyball." Heard it so many times I've almost memorized it. Wouldn't call a favorite, but disturbingly interesting. Especially with the music video includes countless different people appearing in it saying every word and line in the song. Wow. Shot heard round the world by Bob Duro, Schoolhouse Rock. This was among the more popular songs in the educational animated Schoolhouse Rock episodes. It was based on the American Revolution. The animated story was fun, educational, and I'm a big fan of American history. So much fun that probably many of us memorized the lyrics. Suicide is Painless, the MASH theme song. The theme song for one of the most popular sitcoms in television history. Its final episode to this day holds the world's record for most watched scripted episode with 100+ million viewers. I didn't become a huge fan of the hit CBS sitcom till it became a syndicated rerun on cable television. It's theme music that became iconic many sitcoms and dramas had. Once you become a fan of the MASH reruns, you learn of the original film in 1970. Then you learn and realize the film opens with the theme song, which had lyrics. The lyrics, strangely enough, was written by a teenager, 14-year-old Mike Altman, son of the film's director Robert Altman, but performed by Johnny Mantel, would give the show a whole new meaning, let alone the film. Suspension, the 1979 Buck Rogers and the 25th Century theme song. It did not become a favorite of mine until I began collecting songs as a compilation on cassette tape in the late 1990s. I vaguely remember the hit sci-fi television show, but probably did not enjoy it until I saw it in reruns. It was first heard as the opening lyrics in a 1979 theatrical release of Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. It was a remake based on a 1939 movie theater series and comics. A lone astronaut pilot on board a sort of space shuttle launched in 1987. Buck and his ship ended up being frozen and drifting through space for 500 years. Then reawakening to find a strange new Earth. Though the television show only played an instrumental version, of course, the movie's lyrics talked about being taken from a time and world he knows and now must adapt and accept a future he never realized happened. I began realizing how much the lyrics to the theme song, Suspension, related to me. With all the moves, schools, jobs, and never being raised around other family, I was forced, if not pushed, through time. It helps me explain my quandary of feeling like I lost my past. That'll Be the Day by Buddy Holly. I'm a Buddy Holly fan and probably consider him my favorite singer. It was the 1978 film The Buddy Holly Story starring Gary Busey that probably started my attention to this tragically lost performer and music producer. Though I probably heard his music before I saw the film, having been raised on rock and roll music. Buddy had lots of great hit songs despite having an unfortunate short career. I will always love listening to his That'll Be the Day. The Unknown Stuntman by Lee Majors. A song written and performed by television actor Lee Majors, which gives tribute to the stuntmen that never get screen credit. These men and women put their bodies and lives on the line, replacing mostly major name actors for a few moments. The song was the theme song of Lee Majors' second major hit show, The Fall Guy, his first being The $6 Million Man, a favorite of mine as a child. I tried to watch The Fall Guy, but after only a few episodes, I found it boring and repetitive. His character followed the life of a bounty hunter, formerly a stuntman, I think. So though I really liked Lee Majors, the show fell flat and not in my favorable interests. Once I learned of the song, I became enamored by the lyrics or story of who he was talking about. I actually could relate as I exchanged words and characters to my experiences in life as a restaurant dishwasher. We Didn't Start the Fire by Billy Joel. Some major artists only deliver one-hit wonders. Then there are a few that can deliver more. That's just my perspective. Another hit song by Billy Joel is My Life that I previously talked about as another major favorite. I think I first heard this song on MTV or VH1. The music video was actually horrible, but the lyrics were involving historical people and moments. Remember, I'm a history buff. What I didn't realize were historical moments he placed as the lyrics were during Billy Joel's life from birth. But as a history buff, the song turned out to be a history lesson. The more I listened, it was so similar to Schoolhouse Rock's Shot Heard Around the World. So many historical moments are a part of the lyrics, and so well written, it seems like a rap song. It's a fun, educational, and very repeatedly played song on the radio that it's always a great hit to listen to and sing to. We're Not Gonna Take It by Twisted Sister. I first discovered Twisted Sister in 1984 or 1985 while I was with my parents food shopping. Well, I found the LP album Stay Hungry, which I believe is their biggest album ever. I found their album in the store and later saw their music videos, I Wanna Rock and We're Not Gonna Take It, while watching MTV or VH1. The band's songs became so controversial that Dee Snider had to testify when the government wanted to regulate music with ratings. Adults and the government found Twisted Sister's music, especially We're Not Gonna Take It, as rebellious and influencing the young. That didn't work with my father since he refused any ounce of rebellion from me. In fact, in the store when I found the album, but ironically, all he complained about was, why is that guy wearing makeup? I don't recall him ever complaining about the music or lyrics.